Good morning, Flosstube. Today is Sunday, March 5th, 2023. Welcome to Mel of Hope Stitches. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for finding this channel and giving it a chance. If you are returning, welcome, welcome. I apologize that it has been about a month, I think, maybe 5 weeks since my last video. I had hoped to get on here a little quicker, but life has been a little bit busy in the world of education and just in general. And I wanted to make sure I had enough to come and talk to you about. And as I've stated before, I love Flosstube. It's my absolute preferred thing to watch on any screen right now. And so this is my way of giving back. And like I said, life has been a bit busy. I actually have some full finishes, woohoo! Some works in progress, a little bit of Stitch Your Stash challenge of SYS in 6 hours. Excuse me, I didn't quite make that challenge, but I tried. Have a little bit of haul and just some fun. And I'm taping, or videoing, I should say, in a different part of my craft room today because I've been trying to find the best place with the best light that doesn't reflect 8,000 ways in my glasses. And I have a design wall for when I quilt, and I just discovered that I can put some finishes that need to be fully finished for my cross stitch on my design wall if I'm not using it for quilting, which will help me remember they need to be finished, and maybe I can get ahead of them a little bit. So I'm excited to challenge myself with that. So the first thing I would like to share with you today are some full finishes. So my first two are some holiday pillows, and they come from this book, chart, Jingles from Luminous Fiber Arts. And instead of finishing as one piece, I decided to finish them in pillows because I am working to have some more dough bowls in my home, as well as just stitchy corners. I've made a little commitment to myself that if I don't stitch a decoration, I'm not buying a decoration unless it kind of goes with my motif. So that's kind of my goal moving forward. So the two I've done so far, I did Jingle, and here's Mr. Jingle, and this is my pillow finish. And this is stitched on a 14 count. I think it was like a country mocha Ada that I had in my stash. I left off the name Jingle, and I just added a couple more snowflakes. It's all the called for colors. And then I just stitched some fabric to the bottom. And then I took some of my rickrack from Lady Doc Creates. She has a bobble and bits bag you can get every once in a while, and it's in her store under items on the web, available on Etsy shop only. And I think they're like $7, and you get this bag of just amazing little pieces. And so I just take that out and figure out what I want to do. And then I used the method that I learned from Kathy at Hands On Design. So I stitched all the way around, and then I cut in the middle, and I put some fabric and a button on it. And I finished Mr. Jolly the same way. And again, I left off the name and I added in a different snowflake. And I simply did that because it's going to be used in a dough bowl. This one was my second one. I didn't do them at the same time. One is bigger than the other by a little bit, but you know what? It's imperfectly imperfect. It's all good. And this one, I did stitch it a little bit better because I'd had some experience. I was also using cheap felt from Michaels, which is great for every other craft in the house. But when it comes to this, I think I really need the wool felt. So that'll be something I look for in the future. So those are two little Christmas pillows that I finished. I did not make Joy yet. So Joy is going to be one of my future stitches. Not sure when, but that's in the future. I also fully finished my stitch that I started and finished at StitchCon last year. And I did it in this cute frame that I have had forever. And you open it up and it says 4 out of 5 voices in my head say eat the chocolate. And these are cute little buttons that came with it from just another button company. This is an 18 count Ada. I don't remember the color. I got it when I was in StitchCon, and unfortunately I didn't. I think it's Fiber on a Whim, if memory serves me, but I don't know the name of the color. So if I can find that out, I will let you know. And I used all the called for threads with that. So that was a fun one. And that one is coming to work and going in my office. And I might keep the shutters closed and open them on those days when I really need the chocolate. Maybe that will be a sign to others that I'm having a day. That's a nice subtle sign. My other 2 fully finishes are some Easter finishes from last year. And these ones are on a 14 count Celadon fiber. I think it was Zweigart Ada. Whoops, I just dropped one, excuse me. And these come from the Jelly Bean Jubilee Brenda Gervais book, and they're sulky conversions. So I love sulky because you just have to use one strand to get the same coverage. So this is one of them. Isn't he just darling? I love this one. So what I did is I had some Lori Holt vintage fabric. I don't remember what line. I just have a fat quarter bundle of it. So I took one that I thought matched and I sewed it around my Ada. I have a matching color on the back. And then this is another Lady Dot Create finishing that I had. And this one, you guys, I sewed it up the traditional way on the bottom, but then I cheated when I put I didn't cheat. I used the easy way. Let me put it that way. You can sew this on, but it takes quite a while. And honestly, gluing it with some Aleene's glue, I think it's a little fluffier and I like it a little better. So that I learned from East Coast crafter Helen D. And so I sewed it with the Aleene's glue and put the pins in. So I have this guy here, and then I have this sweet little one as well. And again, these were sulky conversions. I don't think I wrote them down. Let me look in my book real quick. I did not. I did not write them down. However, I think I still may have them pulled because I didn't finish all of the patterns that I wanted to do. So if you're interested in these sulky conversions, you can contact me and I will try my best to figure them out for you. And so these ones I stitched last year when I had a broken wrist. So it's taken a while to get them fully finished, but they're here for this season. And that is the important part, right? It's amazing sometimes how long full finishes take. Next on my docket to full finish is going to be this Bunny Bakery because of the season we're in. So those are all my full finishes. And I have some haul that I'm going to share next before I get into my whips. So for haul, I was watching Stitching with the Housewives a couple weeks ago, and they have a new release coming out, and they showed this beautiful basket from Hobby Lobby. And I happened to be at Hobby Lobby and they had this 40% off. Maybe it was 30% off. I don't know. It was a good deal. And it is in the spring shop. It is item 5772074. And I thought they have it in white and they have it in this brown. And I got the brown because the doors in my home are white. And I thought if I get white, it's, I don't know, going to blend too much. And I may actually put this on the inside of my front door. Not the outside because I don't want my stitching to get ruined. But I think I'm going to use some different patterns for this. I'm not quite sure yet because it's just a plan in my head. But I have been collecting all of the Brenda Gervais wordplay patterns that were out several years ago. And I'm still missing 2 of the months, but I'm looking for them. So my thought is to do, I think Brenda did these on she definitely did these on a linen. And it is a smaller linen. I may do it on a 28 count, so they'll be a little bit bigger. And I thought they would be sweet just down here, and I can change them out every month. And then I can add flowers or different greenery in there, maybe eucalyptus or something that I don't have to change all the time. So that's kind of my plan there. I'll let you know how that goes. Of course, I have to get to stitching all these. And my thought with these, I love, love, love the primitive way that Brenda stitched these, but I will probably use some brighter fabrics and brighter colors just for the pop. Okay, so that is one piece of haul. I've really been working to be really diligent with how I am spending money on my crafting. Because as we know, every floss tube that we watch enables us. And it's easy to say we want everything. And I'm so proud of myself because Nashville Market is closing up today. People are heading home and I have placed 0 orders for any of the charts. There's several that I love, but I still haven't started last year's charts that I got. So my goal is to get some more stitching in and then to really not buy any more charts or to kit anything up until I go to StitchCon. I'm going to weekend B in June. I'm super excited. So my goal is to do some stitching, not to do some stitching, but to do some shopping for new stitchy projects when I am there. There's a little disclaimer to this though. I do have a few of the clubs that I'm in. So I am currently in the Color and Cotton Club to receive 10 skeins of thread a month, as well as to receive their fabric. And I get the 28 count Lugana. And that is a club I don't want to stop because it took me over a year to get into the fabric club and I love their fabric. I'm toying with stopping the thread club because I have a lot of thread at this point, but I'm still keeping on right now. I'm also in the Be Stitch Me Fabric of the Month club, and I really love the different colors I get from those clubs. I'll use some of those in those word plays or in different pieces. So again, those I'm going to keep. And I'm also part of the Big City Christmas Country Cottage Needlework Club. So other than that, I have really been not purchasing. It's just those clubs. So in Big City Christmas, I have gotten all 3 that have been released so far. So I got Department Store. And when I ordered this, I ordered the fabric. It's the Mushroom Lugana. I honestly don't remember though if I ordered the size fabric to put them all on one design together or to do separate ones. I am pretty sure I ordered enough to do them separately, but I'm going to have to do a little math to figure that out. And I haven't started them yet. So I've got Department Store. I have the Theater. And I have the Toy Store. And I have not taken the time yet to decide if I want to use the called for colors or stitch from stash. My concern with stitching from stash with thread for a long project with many different parts is that I will run out of a color that was perhaps a special edition and not be able to get it. So I haven't decided on that yet, but I don't have to make that decision today, so I'm good. And then my other haul, I've got a few different months of colors, but they're so fun, I thought I'd share them. All right, so I have Be Stitch Me Fabric of the Month. I do not remember which month is which. I think I got this one in January. It's Hot Cocoa. I'm not going to take it out of the bag because of the crinkly sounds, but I love that. And she's switching it up a little bit where you get like a neutral and then you get a color. And look at this sorbet. This was February's. It is just gorgeous. Look at the color tones, the yellows, the oranges, the pinks. It truly looks like you're eating some sorbet. So excited about that. And then the 2 that I've gotten so far for Color and Cotton, for January, we had this beautiful piece called Snowy Pine, and I don't know if you can really see it. It looks more gray on the camera, but truly it is a very, very light, earthy green. And then my colors were, for January, were, just take them out, sorry for the noise. But my January colors were Daydream, which is like a blue, Fairy Tale, Bouquet. Let's look at the variegation in that. It's just gorgeous. Secret Admirer, Cherub, and I'm in the 10 count club. So those were the 5 you get if you're in the 10 count. The 5 that you get if you're in the 5 count club are right here. We have Lovebirds, Desire, Radiant Lilac, Rose Petals, and Heavenly. And I can 100% see myself picking some of these colors when I'm working on those word plays by Brenda Gervais. And then I just last week got my February club in, and for the fabric, they're doing their packaging a little different, so I apologize. I do have to take it out to get the color. It's called Peony. It's the February, and it is 28 count Lugana. Isn't that just beautiful? It's actually a little, not quite as dark as it's coming out on the screen, but again, I just love the color. And then for flosses, again, I'm in the 10 skein club, but the first 5 from them for this month are Baby Carrots, Bunny Nose. Is that not the most precious name? Butterfly Bush. Mint Chip. Green Tea, which is looking a little more washed out than it is. Let me see if I can show you some piece of variegation. I don't know if you can see it, but there's everything from a very subtle all the way up to a brighter light green in there, which is really pretty. And then the other 5 skeins. Again, I apologize for the crinkles. We have Spring Rain, Duck Egg, Baby Chick, Toasted Marshmallow, and Snapdragon. And Snapdragon really looks like it would go with that. It would almost match that sorbet fabric from Bestitch Me. So those were my colors of the month from Color and Cotton. And they're just so beautiful that I'm like, I will use this. So I don't think canceling is too close in the future. I also, through some of my Instagram feeds, saw some freebie charts, and they're not new. They're from 2021, but they were new to me. And I thought they would look precious with those pillows I just showed you. So this is from Whilst Iris Naps Design. And there's some bunnies and some carrots. And so her website is whilstirisnaps.com, and this is a freebie. And let me just put that up there so you guys can see that website real quick. I will try to remember to put it in the show notes. So I am hoping to stitch those up within the next few weeks. We'll see if it happens. Life's been a little, we'll see. I'm gonna do my best. There's also another one. I don't think I have a picture of it though. Let me look. I just have the charts, and while they're free, I prefer not to show the charts. Yeah, I don't have a picture of this one, but it says Happy Easter is one of them, and Welcome Spring is the other. And so those are also free on her website. So they would be super cute in a bowl or on a tiered tray or wherever you want to put them in your home. They're just, or for a gift, maybe you, you know, have a loved one you give an adult Easter basket to that would like them. And then the other one that I find, okay, so the one set of charts that I am having a very hard time not purchasing on this whole Nashville release is Kathy Haberman from Hands On Designs, her Plaid series. I love it. I've gone to Etsy. I've looked at the beautiful finishing piece I can get from the other designer, and I have it in my cart, but I haven't purchased it yet because I want to stitch before I purchase. So I did go back and find her free plaid, which is her autumn one, which you can find on her blog. So I thought, all right, well, why don't I stitch this and see if I still really love the series. And if I still love the series, then that might be on my docket to purchase when I get to StitchCon. So again, I'm just trying to slow roll my purchases out a tiny bit. And I have a feeling I'm going to love it. So we'll get there. Another thing that I am pretty proud of myself for doing over the month is I had a day off in February, and I chose to take the day to do some stitching. But instead of stitching on a project, I decided to make a project binder using ElizabethAnncanstitch's tutorial. And I bought a fat quarter of the Teresa Kogut Stitchy Bird fabric. And it's a prototype. I made mistakes, but I'm going to show it because I will use it and I will love it. So I did make this project bag. Well, not project bag, project binder, I think is what Liz calls them. And Liz used a magnetic closure. I used snap because I didn't have the magnets, and I've used snaps a lot for different things. And so that's what I used. I didn't line it up perfectly, so it's a little crooked, but you know what? It's my homemade craft, and I'll get better next time because I have lots of fabric to make more. And so this is my outside, and when you open it up, I did not use vinyl. I chose to do two fabric areas. So this one is open, and so I could take any type of a chart and put it in that side. And then this side is my side with my zipper that I can actually put my project I'm working on in. I love the way it came out. I have seen another rendition of this that also sews in a little thread bed. So I may add that. I'm not quite sure. I might add that in there, or I might just, you know, have the thread bed be inside here. The reason I chose not to use the vinyl was A, I didn't have any vinyl in my home. And B, when I listened to ElizabethAnncanstitch, she talked about how because there's some compression when you put these together, she found that the vinyl was wearing off on one of her charts. And I thought, you know what, I'm just not even gonna chance that, because what if I decide to put a chart in the vinyl side? You know, you just never know. So this was my first go round. And honestly, my binding, I put this thicker part should have been on the inside, because look at how beautiful that inside binding looks, and it looks kind of on the outside. But again, this is my first one. I'm gonna make some more. It's all good. I'm gonna do a couple other changes. I might make both be zippered pockets so I could actually get 2 projects inside. I haven't quite decided, but I absolutely loved it. And her tutorial was fantastic, very easy to follow. And this, you know, yes, it took a little time because you're measuring, you're stitching, you're making sure things are good. But, you know, overall, it was a great day project. So I enjoyed that, and I'm very excited to have it. I have not put a project in it yet because I'm holding off. I have one of Teresa Kogut's releases from last year's market, which was the Madonna. I know that's not the name of the chart, but it's what I call it. And that is going to go into this Stitchy Birds stitchy binder that I created. So very excited about that. All right, I do have one other purchase to share with you that I'm looking at for an FFO. Sorry, I moved where I was today and now everything is a little mess. So I think last time we were here, I showed you this finish, or maybe it was 2 times now, for this autumn chart from Little House Needleworks. When I was at Hobby Lobby last week, I picked up in the spring shop 40% off this beautiful petal. It's very long, as you can see, and I thought, I think it'll fit. I think it'll fit. I had no dimensions with me. I didn't have the piece with me. I just was going off of memory. Well, the consensus is it almost fits. So if I fold it up, you can see that it's a little bit, you know, it goes right down to the bottom, and it's a little longer at the top. It goes above this curve. But I love the width for this. So my thought is to mount it on a flat piece with a little bit of fabric around it. And I'll probably go for a very autumny, purpley brown color around it, I think is what I'm gonna do. I think I can go into that same stash of Lori Holt vintage fabric I have and find something that'll work well. Or I might even pull the blue out. And I'm going to, once I mount it, I'm going to see if it looks crazy high on it, because it may come up to here, or if it looks okay. If it looks okay, I'm going to go for it for now. And perhaps when I attach it, I will attach it in a way that it can easily come off. So if I find a better suited petal at a really reasonable price, I can change it. But at least it'll be finished, right? So this was awesome. And like I said, it was on sale. It was like 30 or 40% off. And it's actually a food safe one. So if I decide not to use it for a cross stitch finish, I guess I could do a charcuterie tray on it. Would be a skinny one, but probably better for my health. All right, so I think I had said before that I have joined Sweetwater Stitcher's Stitch Your Stash in 2023 Facebook group. And she had a challenge Super Bowl weekend of stitching on 6 projects in 6 hours. So I really wanted to do that, and it was any time during the weekend, but the weekend was very busy, and I didn't actually sit down to work on my stitching until Sunday. And so 6 hours was a bit of a stretch. So I take that back. I worked a little bit Friday on one, and then I worked on 4 others. So I didn't quite get to 6. I worked on 5 projects. The first one is a stitchy gift I am making, and it's one of those like slow and steady wins the race kind of projects, because I'm still finding that the color and cotton blue that I'm using is a little tricky to see on at times. And I also know I'm being very trying to be as careful as I can in the project. I typically do not cross off or highlight areas I've stitched on a chart, and on this one I am. So I'm really taking my time. I'm going to show it super quick, and as I drop everything over here. So this is the stitch that I am creating as a gift, and this inside circle is very complicated. So stitching on that when my eyes are good and I can really concentrate because I can do nothing else when I'm doing it. The other projects I worked on were some that I haven't had a chance to work on since last year. So it's almost kind of like a whip in progress day, which was really kind of fun. And I chose to also share with you some ways that I keep my thread while I'm stitching. So if I'm using my sulkies and they're on a spool, they stay on the spool, right? Life is good. And if I'm using my color and cotton, I tend to keep, or Classic Colorworks or any of those, I tend to keep them on the tags they come with, because there's another area that I can take anything that is left over and I can attach it there. And then I remember who the beautiful thread designer was, or the thread dyer, I should say, who the beautiful thread dyer was and what color it is. So I typically keep them on here because to me, the less work, the better. But I did have some different alternatives with some of these charts. So the first one I worked on was Flea Market Flowers by Holt. I absolutely love this. It is another chart that I find I have to concentrate on, and there's so many color changes, and I prefer to do a block at a time than to go around and find all the colors. And that's just because it's in my Q-Snap. So I did, when I purchased this, I bought all of the called for colors, which are DMCs, and I bought her thread keep. So the thread keep is great because when I take it out, it's all there, but I find it gets a little messy because, I don't know, it loosens up, it gets messy. It's not my favorite way, but again, they're all together. And so that's the plus of that one. I am working on, I'll show you on the pattern. I have this section here in my Q-Snap. So this section here is in my Q-Snap. This is the section I am working on. And once I get this section completed, I will be able to move my Q-Snap. And I'm absolutely loving the way it's coming out. And the gingham, you can really see in the camera. This is the gray gingham from Fabric Flare, so the printed on, and it is a 14 count Aida. And for this project, I'm absolutely loving this. I started this when Flea Market Flowers first came out, and it's well before I took a dive into Lugana and linen. But I love Aida still. I love to stitch on everything. So that is that one. And again, I used this type of a thread keep with that. My next project that I worked on for a little bit is Practically Perfect in Every Way from Lilli Violette. And I picked this up at StitchCon last year, and I'm using the called for DMC colors and the rest of that 18 count purple fabric, which I think is fiber on a whim. It is so, it's just so beautiful to work with. This black string is not, the thread is not beautiful, but you can see the variegation in the fabric. And I have my little needle minder from Keepsakes up there. And so I've been working on this and I'm loving it. I have not worked too much on it. Taking the black in sections. There's a lot of black. This chart is mostly DMC black with a couple other things. My goal is to finish this chart at StitchCon this summer because I purchased it last year at StitchCon. I want to ring the bell with this chart. So working on it. So when I went to StitchCon, my birthday's in June, and my friend that I was with purchased for me these cute Disney floss keepers and this cute bling from the little annex shop at StitchCon. So I did take all my DMC out and I put it on these rings. So I prefer the rings to this if I'm going to put my thread on something, because it's just a little neater and easier for me to grab. And I did take the time on these and measured them out and cut them already, so they're all ready to go. A lot of times I just put them around the bobbins and I don't know, snip as I go. Like I said, I like to get to the stitching part of it and not take too much time on everything else. Okay, my fourth, 1, 2, 3, yeah. The fourth project that I worked on for the 6 and 6 challenge is an older Lizzie Kate project, and it is ABC Lessons. And I picked this up when I was at Stitcher's Paradise in Vegas. They have a lot of Lizzie Kate patterns from way back when. And one thing I love about Stitcher's Paradise in Vegas is, number one, the ladies are sweethearts. And there's so many different models to see, and they are very eclectic in the styles they carry. But if you ask for something, if they have a shoebox of patterns in the back, they will bring out older patterns. So that is how I was able to get my American series in completion from Little House Needleworks. I've gone in before and said, hey, do you have any Lizzie Kate patterns? And they'll just bring out a couple buckets at a time, and I can thumb through and find some that I like that I haven't seen before. And that's how I got this. What's amazing with this one is not only did I get the chart, I got all the called for floss, and I was able to purchase the button pack, the Jabco button pack. So very excited about that. So I've been going along and stitching on this slowly but surely. And again, I have my thread all over the place. Let me just move some of this so you can see. Okay, so this is where I am, and I'm using a pretty large Q-snap so that I don't have to move it along. And I had decided to just work on a bunch of the words because the words go quickly. So during that challenge, I did get all these words done in that hour. And then I'll have to go back and fill in the color blocks that go around the first letter of each word. I'm leaving spaces for all the motifs because some of the motifs I have buttons for, and other motifs I will need to stitch. But I am unclear right now which ones I have to stitch and what ones I have buttons for. So I thought because it's in the Q-snap that's going to fit the entire project, I will work on the whole thing, and then I will go back and do, I don't know if you can see the little motifs. So I know I have a heart button, so I'll put a button in there. But if I don't have a flower, then I will stitch that. So I will go through, and my understanding from and what I've seen is that I have buttons for a good portion of them. So that is how I will work on that. And for this one, my fabric is just sitting in my project bag, and it's all fancy floss. So it's just on its original floss drops. And some of it is so old, it says Crescent Colorworks instead of Classic Colorworks. So I'm loving it. I'm glad I was able to get that whole kit together. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having this piece for myself. The last piece that I worked on is the one I've been giving the most time to over the past month. And it is my Sunday stitch, and it's a stitch along that I am doing with a couple of other ladies. And if you're on Instagram, we are calling it His Name Is 2023 Sal. And it is a free chart from Joyful Expressions. And these are the two colorways. It's His Name Is Jesus. And these are the two colorways that they charted it in. And if you go on the Joyful Expressions website and you join their blog, they will send you this chart. I decided to do this chart in purples. And the reason I chose purple, not because I have a lot of purple in my house, but because purple is a color of royalty, and purple is a significant color during Advent and Lent. And those are the two times of year that I would like this piece to be displayed in my home. I am stitching it on a piece of 28 count Lugana. I do not know what color gray it is, but I know it looks great on it. And I may have known in the past, I may have it written down somewhere. I may have it written down somewhere. So this is my progress thus far. And I did take it out of my Q-snap this morning for you guys. I'm using a smaller Q-snap, so I don't have, like on His Name, I don't have the E done because it would have been in the way of the Q-snap. But I'm working on the big His Name Is Jesus. And then the one that says The Way was a purple I was trying, but I didn't feel like it showed up enough. So I switched to the one under Mega and King of Kings. And I have no idea if this is going to flip and show the right way to you guys, or if you're going to see it backwards. So if you see it backwards in the video, I'm sorry. I'm a novice to videoing, and I will get better at that. But you may just see it all backwards today. So if you do, I apologize, but at least the floss tube will be up. This is a very easy stitch. I can take it on the go and work on it. And for this one, my threads are all on their, the DMC bobbins. And what I tend to do is I bobbinate, and then if I have a thread I'm using, I put it the opposite way. And they are in a pouch that I made. I followed a tutorial. Don't remember who I got the pattern from. Oh, maybe Starlight Stitch Co., I think, is who this pattern came from. I will link it in the bio below for today. But I made this. I also made a bag that goes with it, and it has a little thread bed inside. I haven't used a lot of the thread bed just because there's only 3 colors on this project. This is my favorite way to put my floss in. If it's not a fancy floss, and even if it's a fancy floss, I keep it in the zipper. My sulkies fit in the zipper. I love this because then they're not all over my project bag. They're in one place. I even thought about putting one of these inside of that binder. But it might get a little too bulky. I don't know. I got to play with it. So, that was a lot. That is what I have for you today. My plans for this upcoming few weeks are to continue working on His Name is Jesus. I really want to get this one done during the month of, during the season of Lent. And I will continue to work on these projects. I am itching to start a couple new projects. I really want to start This Is the Day by Plum Street Sampler. That was a release last year at Market. I have it all kitted up, but I have not started it. So when I finish His Name is Jesus, I will probably begin that, because to me, that's a Sunday stitch. I'll stitch on it other times, but I like to be very purposeful with my Sunday stitching. So I will work on that. I want to continue to work on my gift project, and I want to chip away at the whips I have. I don't have a ton of whips. I do have a couple more that I haven't gotten to this year, but I really want to chip away at those versus having so many whips that I start to get anxious about things that I haven't started yet. I have not begun my piece for the exchange at StitchCon, so that is in my brain. I know what I'm doing. I've purchased the chart, but I have not started it yet. So that is another one that's on there. And I also want to get Bunny Bakery fully finished. So this one I want to get fully finished so I can put it up. And maybe some of these others over here will get fully finished as well. But that is what I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all. I hope that this end of winter is treating you okay as we get ready for a beautiful spring, and that you're enjoying taking some time and stitching, and just soaking in that time for yourself. Have a great day, and I will see you soon.